As many of you may know, I went to college to become an English teacher, preferably in high school. But ultimately, I chose to live the Mumkey life instead, so I did not become a teacher. But I always thought about how funny it would be if for my yearbook photo each year as a teacher, I would wear the same thing every time. And just wait and see how many years it took before anybody picked up on what I was doing. But obviously, I did not become a teacher, so for this series, Mumkey Reviews The Passage, I've been wearing this shirt in every single episode, week by every other week by every other week. And so far, nobody, not a single person, has commented pointing this out. I'm so ashamed of all of you. Come on. What are you, a bunch of men? Not paying attention to the fashion you see on screen? Disappointing, folks. Disappointing. Anyway, welcome to Mumkey Reviews episodes 6 and 7 of Fox's The Passage. I apologize that this episode is a few days later than it normally would be, but I have a good excuse because, in case you don't know, the other day I did a 24-hour live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/MumkeyJones, watching the same Brad Dassey music video on repeat for the full 24 hours. And that's why I was a few days late watching The Passage and filming this video and uploading it. But here it is now.
So here's the thing. I fucking hate Trump. Yeah, I hate that son of a bitch. That wasn't in the script, Beavis.
If you didn't see that live stream, I guess go watch the full 24 hours. If you're an absolute madman, it'll be as torturous for you as it was for me to sit through it. So good luck. Also, this video has a sponsor. That's right, it's Mumkey's Patreon. If you like the work I do and you want to support me and my life and my work, go to patreon.com/Mumkey. You can throw in a buck or two even, and it helps out because it all adds up. But if you don't like Patreon, you don't want to support Patreon for political reasons or anything else, Dick Masterson made a new Patreon that takes 0 fees from me, the creator, called New Project 2. So you can go to newproject2.com/Mumkey and support me there instead if you want to give a big fuck you to Patreon. Either one works. I like being supported on both of them, so that's how you support this show. Let's move on to reviewing a different show, The Passage, episodes 6 and 7. So as you may remember, each week I've been saying that the show is getting better and better as it goes on, and it seems to be staying as good. It's not, I wouldn't say it's not getting better than it has been, but it's not getting worse, and that's a good thing. As you may recall, episode 5 ended with Brad and Amy trying to escape secretly through the tunnels underneath the hotel mountain compound. And they run into Winston, one of the 12 virals. He has escaped and he's attacking Brad, but Amy scares him off with a supersonic screech attack, and it was very, very funny. So my thought process was, okay, they scared off Winston. They know if he comes back, Amy can easily use this super special awesome power to scare him away. So they will resume escaping from the compound just like a logical duo would. But that does not happen. For some reason, Brad and Amy are so spooked by this encounter that they can easily prevent, because they just did, that they give up on their escape plans, leave the tunnels, and are taking the elevator back up, where they run into Richards and all the soldiers. And I don't get it. If the whole point is to escape and lead Amy to safety and freedom, why in the fuck, Brad, are you giving up on the escape? You ran into one viral, you easily got it away from you, and you go back up into the loving arms of a heavily armed military that wants to hold you prisoner. What are you doing? But this is the first of many annoying, choices that Brad and Amy make over the course of these 2 episodes. Because Amy accidentally left her copy of A Wrinkle in Time, that book I talked about in episode 1. She accidentally lost her copy of that book, and even though the 2 of them are being held in a safe room with everybody else while the military soldier guys are running around the compound trying to find this escaped viral Winston to shoot and kill him or to bring him back in. It's utter chaos. They just gave up on their escape. All these things are going on, but Amy is just whining and bitching about this book. She won't listen to anything Brad is saying. She just keeps crying, "I want my book back! My mom gave me that book!"
I want my book.
I know, sweetie, but we don't have time to look for it right now.
I'm thinking, Amy, okay, I get it. You're 10 years old, but now is not the time for this emotional attachment. We're trying to escape with our lives here. There is a monster on the loose, probably killing people. And for some reason, we chose to go back into captivity. Stop bitching about this book. But the bitching will continue throughout the episodes, which is weird because up until this point, Amy has been a pretty logical character. You would expect a 10-year-old girl to be very emotional and nonsensical with her actions, but everything leading up to these episodes has led us to believe that Amy is very intelligent and capable and all these things. So now to be throwing all logic and reasoning out the window just to bitch and moan about the emotional attachment you have to this one book, I find it embarrassing. These 2 main characters who I've actually grown to really like so far, where I started off disliking them and then they grew and grew on me and I was like, okay, they might have made some changes to these characters, but I actually like it. Now they're taking that goodwill and shredding it for both of them. But at least I'm enjoying all of the other characters and we have a lot to say about them. They find out that Winston has escaped the compound and is heading for civilian life, which is how the world ends in the actual book. All this shit I'm talking about never happens in the book. What does happen in the book is that eventually all 12 of the virals and Zero escape and wreak havoc on society. They turn everybody into new vampires and the very small population of survivors. We follow their story 100 years in the future, etc., etc. But now Winston has escaped all on his own, and it seems that he's going to go turn a bunch of humans into vampires. Will we have a mini pandemic? Who knows? That's what they want to prevent. How are they going to find him? They're searching for him. It turns out Amy, with her special psychic connection to all the vampires, and she has also been given Zero's blood injection to turn her into a vampire. Not only can she read people's minds, but she can see what Winston sees. So despite Brad telling her, no, stop telling them about this magical power that you have, that you can use to save the lives of the entire human race, because that's the threat. If Winston finds humanity and turns people into vampires, the entire world is fucked. This is the first of many times in which Brad makes what I find to be the immoral decision.
If Winston gets to a densely populated area, that's the end.
I'm aware. The drones can't penetrate the canopy, so... See if you can pick them up on satellite.
I think I'm saying what Winston's seen.
Amy, no. Quiet.
Amy, you know Winston's location?
She's not getting involved in this.
Amy, are you saying you can read his mind?
Unbelievable.
Amy knows she can see what the escaped viral sees. She can help them, the army, catch him and kill him and stop him from wreaking havoc. But Brad tells her, no, don't do it. Because then they're gonna keep experimenting on you once they know that you have these mind powers. No, it's not worth it, Amy. Let all of humanity potentially suffer and die because I specifically don't want you to reveal to the army that you have powers. What are they doing with these characters? I get it. I get that Brad is sad that he couldn't save his daughter, and we get flashbacks about that in episode 7. And he sees Amy as his new daughter, and he wants to right the wrongs of his past and protect this little girl. But at the expense of potentially millions, if not billions, of innocent people. You've just been told that Winston is heading towards civilization. He's a crazed monster that you, Brad, you helped get into this facility to be experimented on. You are content with him wreaking havoc and killing people. You don't want to help Brad. Why? How am I supposed to still like this character? I don't know, maybe these characters are relying more on emotion than on logical reasoning, which is not what we've seen from them the first 5 episodes. And that is, again, it's embarrassing to me. It's making it harder and harder for me to like them. But Amy goes against Brad's wishes and tells everybody, hey, I have psychic powers, I can see what he's doing. And they say, oh, let's all go, get in the trucks. All the army guys, Brad, you can come too, why the fuck not? Let's go track this sucker down and kill him before he kills millions of innocent people. Finally, I'm on the side of the army military guys, of Gilder, the guy who came in last episode, who was just pure evil, it seems. I'm finally on his side and against Brad. Never thought that would happen. So while they're off on their little adventure, you would expect Jonas Lear, the man who is really the lead scientist on this whole operation, you would expect him to be in a bit of a panic because he knows that Zero is brainwashing people and now one of the 12 virals has escaped and is heading towards humanity. There have been sirens going off in the facility, in the compound for hours now. It's utter chaos. All of his life's work is about to get potentially billions of people killed. But what is he doing? We cut to him, and he's having sex with his Alzheimer wife. Because at the end of episode 5, Zero brainwashed Gray to give Liz the injection because Zero wants Liz not only to no longer be dying of Alzheimer's, but to be one of his. He wants Liz. So giving her the injection so that she becomes one of the vampires will not only cure her Alzheimer's, but make her his. And that's what he wants. And the full effects of vampirism haven't come into play yet. Liz is just cured right now. So despite all the chaos and horrible things happening outside of this bedroom, Jonas just wants to get freaky. I know the world is potentially ending, but let's fuck. I don't know, it was funny. Would I do the same? Absolutely. I can't knock him for this one. But after the hanky-panky, we have a bit of what I assume is a Breaking Bad inspired moment. And if your show evokes a sense of perhaps Breaking Bad light, to me, I think that's a very good sign. Because in Breaking Bad, of course, we have scenes where Walt has been caught by his wife, being a drug dealer, and he's explaining to her all these things. Oh, I'm doing it for you. I know it seems bad, Skylar, but you have to understand I'm doing it for us, for our family. It was the only way. And she is just disgusted. And we all think of Skylar as being a bitch for this, of course. But it's still great drama. Skylar doesn't care that he was doing it for the family. She still finds it morally repugnant and is disgusted by Walt and wants a divorce. And we have a very similar scene here in this episode of The Passage, because after their hanky-panky, Jonas Lear explains to Liz everything that's happening, all the experiments, how she has been cured, and she is also disgusted. And she says, you're experimenting on human beings and you've created these monsters, and now I'm 48 hours away from becoming these monsters? Jonas, who the fuck are you? You did this for me? What the hell is wrong with you? This is horrible.
How could you even... No, don't. After Tim, you gave the virus to 12 death row inmates, one of whom is running loose, and a child. A little girl.
Look, every step of this felt like we were so close. Like
Like it could be the last.
Well, it certainly feels like the end now.
And I think that is some of the greatest drama. We never get anything like that in the book, and I'm glad we get it here. Because when you have characters like Zero, Fanning, and Lear, who are doing essentially horrible things because they want to be there and to protect and to save somebody they love, when you have that sort of setup, and then it's revealed to the person they're trying to save, and that person is against the whole thing, that is the makings of great tragedy, folks. I did it for you. You disgust me. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So Brad and Amy and the army people are tracking down Winston. Winston has already killed a few people, sucked out their blood and shit. Brad's wife, Lila, in the last episode, she got kidnapped by one of the army guys. I didn't mention it, I don't think, because I didn't really care about Lila's story anymore. But her driver gets attacked and killed, and so Lila and Brad and all them eventually are going to meet up as they're tracking down Winston, and they learn through a few encounters that Winston has the ability to turn the people he bites into vampires, just like him. And that's when they really realize how fucked they are. That any one of these 12 have the ability to convert more people into vampires, and then those vampires can convert more, and they're like, oh my god, this is gonna be a global pandemic. We have to catch Winston and kill him now! Oh, fuck! Meanwhile, Jonas Lear, after listening to his wife's disgust, realizes the error of his ways, and he comes to the same conclusion as the people in the other story. This has gone too far. It's too dangerous. They're going to kill all of us. We need to kill them first. And he wants to kill all of them. Meanwhile, Sykes is trying to do some experiments to see if they can stop Liz from converting into one of Zero's evil vampires. And she says, Amy was able to use supersonic screech attack to fend off Winston. Maybe Amy's blood is more powerful than Zero's for some reason. So she's doing experiments to see whose blood wins in a blood fight, I guess. But unfortunately, her hypothesis is wrong, and Zero's blood always wins every time. So it seems there is no way to stop Liz from becoming a vampire. Sad. Oh yeah, also in this episode we have some flashbacks to Dr. Sykes, the black scientist lady, having a jovial relationship with Babcock before she was converted into one of the 12. And it's just like it shows that they're friendly with each other, and then now that Babcock is a vampire, she feels betrayed by Sykes and really wants to kill her. But in these flashbacks, while they're bonding, they bond over the fact that they both have a semicolon tattoo. And this was something I had never really heard of before. And as a big fan of the suicide community, I'm surprised that I hadn't. But evidently, and I looked it up, I didn't know if it was just made up for the show or not, people who have either attempted suicide or really thought hard about committing suicide, they'll get these semicolon tattoos, which represents my story could have ended here, but it kept going. And I thought that was a really interesting thing. And I was like, should I get one of those tattoos? And then I realized, no, it's kind of gay. But you learn something new every day. All right, now we have big action scene. They find out through Amy's telekinesis, whatever the fuck. I think telekinesis is when you move things. Telepathic powers. Now Winston is inside some sort of factory or water pump storage. I don't know, who fucking cares? But he has converted a bunch of the employees in there into vampires. So we have a big action scene. They're all shooting at the vampires. Boom, 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 boom. Winston comes out. Zero has ordered Winston to kill Amy now. She's too powerful. We need to kill Amy right now. So Winston is trying to kill Amy, and he runs out of the building while all the guys with the guns are inside the building. They didn't really save too many soldiers with big guns outside to shoot Winston in case he comes out. And the whole thing with the passage is that in the future, when we have the survivors and they're trying to go on their little quest, they can only travel during the day because vampires, of course, canonically throughout history, unless you're watching Twilight, they burn up and die when exposed to direct sunlight or even in the passage just bright lights in general, which is what we've seen many times so far. So Winston, for being a vampire, his face is like burning while he's in this direct sunlight, and he's smoking a lot, like he's being burned alive. But he fights off an armed guard and is just walking and running and chasing after Amy, who runs away.
Get back! Winston, here! He's here! Winston's here!
So, maybe this whole sunlight weakness is not as prevalent as one might think, because he's doing a lot of shit in the direct sunlight. And Amy makes another piss-poor decision. We know that Amy has super speed powers now. So, yeah, just run away. You can outrun this guy. He's burning up in the sun and you're not, because you're not full vampire yet. Just fucking run, dude. But Amy, in her infinite wisdom, I assume she picked up this brilliance from reading, of course, that stupid book that I just forgot the name of, probably for the best. She finds a dark, abandoned garage and runs inside it to hide.
I bet I'm faster.
Amy, no!
Amy! You're being chased by a monster that you're slightly faster than that is burning to death in the direct sunlight! Why are you hiding inside a dark building, you stupid bitch? Come on! What is up with these character decisions today, man? Amy and Brad are just fucking up! That's like the theme of this episode. Characters just fucking up! But then, of course, right as Winston is about to kill Amy, rightfully so, dumb bitch has it coming at this point. Brad swoops in and saves the day and kills Winston, not Vincent. That's me. And when he shoots him dead, all of the people he turned into vampires who are still fighting against the soldiers, they all drop dead too. Kind of like in the Avengers when they close the portal and then all the aliens in New York just collapse, fall dead, like they had some sort of spiritual connection or something. So they learn, if you kill the vampire that converted all the other vampires, it's like a pyramid scheme. You have 0 at the top, then you have the 12, and then each member of the 12 has all their own, it's like, you know, it's branching off. If you kill anybody, then everybody below them will drop dead and die, which will be very useful in the future, in the rest of the passage, after the time skip, but mostly in the second book called The 12. Not that it's relevant right now. Well, I guess it kind of is. That's kind of the whole point. Because Jonas Lear has decided, fuck this shit, I'm killing them all, baby! And he turns up the lights to maximum, and we see 0 and all the 12, they're fucking dying. They're burning to death, and Jonas Lear's like, yeah, fuck you! You wanted to kill me, I'll fucking kill you first! But then, uh-oh. We see Amy, and we see Liz. And suddenly they're in horrible, excruciating pain, and they're dying too. Why? Because since 0 is dying, and everybody, all the vampires are descended from 0, they will die too. And that's when we come to another Avengers Infinity War moment, folks! Brad was unwilling to sacrifice Amy's safety to save innocent people. Ultimately, Amy got her way anyway. But now, Jonas Lear is doing the same thing. The moral of the story in Avengers Infinity War is that the person who wins is the one who is willing to sacrifice the most. Thanos is willing to sacrifice Gamora to get what he wants. The Avengers are not willing to sacrifice Vision, and that is why Thanos wins. If they let Vision die and destroy the stone before Thanos gets there, Thanos cannot win. And that is the lesson that they learned in that movie. The same thing happens in this episode. Because when Lear finds out that Liz and Amy will die if Zero dies, he shuts down the lights and he decides not to kill them. This will be a costly mistake, folks. He's unwilling to sacrifice his wife, who is going to become a vampire in less than 48 hours, no matter what, or die. He's unwilling to let her die for the sake and safety of humanity, which is great drama. I'm not gonna knock him for that. It's a lesson you gotta learn the hard way, that you have to be willing to make sacrifices to get what you want. In this case, I assume he wants the safety of all of humanity. And because he made this decision, he no longer has the option to do it again, because Gilder, the guy from the Department of Defense or Security or whatever, he is now going to be in charge of the entire operation. Lear and Richards are getting their titles taken away from them because he made this decision. And I have to assume this is what's going to happen because it's what happens in the book. These vampires are going to escape and end the fucking world. That is what I call great drama, folks. Great drama. They got two great dramatic moments just in this one episode. The passage, you did it again. You did it again. And then we come to episode 7, and really, I have half as many notes for episode 7 as I did the previous one, because there's not a whole lot going on. Essentially, now that Gilder's in charge, he just wants Amy. He knows that Brad is trying to save Amy, so he's gonna separate them. At the end of the previous episode, Brad and Lila, his ex-wife, they get knocked out and thrown into the back of a car so that they can be killed. This episode deals a lot with flashbacks to Brad and Lila's downfall. We see flashbacks of them having their daughter, who ultimately gets killed through a series of several flashbacks when a convenience store gas station robbery goes wrong and she gets shot by the robber, and Brad feels complete and total responsibility for this, and he becomes an Avenger himself, a vengeful man. He tracks down the guy who did it and kills him, but his good friend Richards, he understands how Brad feels. He says, you know what, Brad, I got this new thing, Project Noah. We could use a guy like you to go collect all the convicts. I'll help you cover up this murder you just committed that anybody would agree with. Probably, but he'd still probably go to jail for it, actually. But I'll cover it up for you. You come work on this new project. Because, of course, Richards and Brad, according to this show, not according to the book, I don't think, used to be good friends. And now, so that's how Brad got into it in the first place. And now, in the present day, they've come full circle again. They're no longer enemies. Richards realizes how dangerous and horrible this whole Project Noah scheme is, and he wants to help Brad and Lila and Amy escape. But unfortunately, it seems he's too late, because now Gilder is in charge. Richards has been stripped of power, and he has ordered Brad and Lila to be killed. So half the episode is these flashbacks. Then we have just action scenes of Brad and Lila escaping from their handcuffs and fighting the guys who are going to kill them and killing them, and they run through the woods. And then another guy shows up. Oh, stop where you are. I know you're escaped and dangerous and just killed a bunch of my men. But instead of shooting you on sight, I'm going to tell you to lower your weapons and then stand here very, very slowly moving until, uh-oh, Richards walked up and shot me. And Richards is like, hey, fam, I'm here to help. Everything I just said in about 2 minutes takes up about 30 minutes of the episode. Meanwhile, we have Gilder, the head honcho now, running the whole project, and he wants to move forward with it despite Dr. Sykes saying, we have to stop. This shit is fucked. And he goes to Amy, and he says, yeah, Amy, just wanted to tell you, Brad, the agent that you were always asking about, that you're obsessed with, that you always need by your side, yeah, he decided to go back home. He just wanted me to tell you goodbye.
Where's the agent?
I wanted to talk to you about that. Agent Wolgass has gone home. He wanted me to tell you goodbye.
I don't believe you.
I'm sorry. Adults can be unreliable, as I'm sure we both know.
You have no idea what goes on around here, do you?
Now this is a curious choice, because over the course of the last 2 episodes, Gilder has learned that Amy not only has mind-reading powers, but has specifically read his mind in episode 5. So it seems weird that he would not only try to lie to her, but give the stupidest, dumbest lie he could possibly think of. Gilder, you seem like a very conniving, smart man. Why do you think you can lie to the little girl who you know can read your mind? Curious choice. I guess this episode really wants us to deal with our main characters dealing with the death of their loved ones in the past, because we have all the stuff with Brad and his dead daughter, and we also have stuff with Amy and her dead mother. As you remember, the funniest scene in the entire show, episode 1, Amy walks up to her hospital apartment complex and immediately knows that her mother has overdosed and died, and it's just bizarre. And I guess maybe we'll play that clip again.
The 32-year-old female pronounced dead on the scene of an apparent drug overdose.
I was 10 years old the night my mama died.
But in this episode, we learn that Amy evidently feels responsible for her mother's death, and that is one of the reasons why she's so desperate to get back her stupid book, because her mom gave it to her and she has all this emotional attachment to it. But Amy reasons in her own mind, I got into a fight with my mama and told her I hated her, and then I went to go read my stupid book at a restaurant, and that's why my mom overdosed and died, because I told her I hated her. I mean, I guess a 10-year-old might feel guilty like that. I guess that's a perfectly human response. But Amy has never really shown to have these feelings or this sense of guilt or grief whatsoever. And I think it's only being triggered by her not having this book. I guess the book was what was keeping her emotions in check, and now that it's missing, now she's really losing her mind about this particular piece of her past. But Anthony Carter, back after being missing for an episode, and you might remember he has converted to full vampire, a follower of Zero. He is projecting himself into Amy's thoughts, and he helps her find the book, and he says, hey, you know, I like you. I'm gonna be real with you. Zero's a bad guy. I want you to be more powerful, and I want you to stop Zero. Unfortunately, I made my choice. I'm stuck with him. But Amy, I think you're the special one. I think you can save the day. And Amy, after learning from Carter, uses the special vampire mind power to travel back to her own dramatic backstory, as we saw Carter do several times. And as you may remember, when Carter would relive his past in his dreams, Zero would show up and torment him, and that's ultimately how Zero converts these people into joining him, is that he shows up to their dreams in their biggest moments of weakness, and he sweet talks them into joining his family. And Amy goes back to this memory of her and her mom, and she says, Mama, I love you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean all that stuff. And her mom's like, oh, I know, dear. But then there's a knock at the door. And the dramatic cliffhanger of the episode is that behind that door, it is revealed to be Zero himself.
Hello, Amy.
He is visiting Amy in her flashback dream. Oh man, will he convert Amy to go full vampire, folks? No, he won't. But I guess the layman won't know that. Because there's only 3 episodes left. Not only of the season, but I assume the entire show, because it's on Fox, so it'll probably get canceled. But the layman who's invested in this story, maybe they'll think Amy will get converted. Woo! Could it be? No, it won't. Don't worry. And that's it. That's the entire episode. Really, not much going on in episode 7, but it was still good. It was still pretty good. I liked it. I liked episode 6 and 7. Despite being a little bit irritated and weary, I suppose, of some of Brad and Amy's choices, we had some good drama with the other characters. The action is fine. I don't have any complaints about the action. The less that they do action with crazy vampire powers, the better it looks. When it's just like these shootouts and stuff, it's pretty decent. And there's only 3 episodes left, like I said. I'm genuinely excited to see how they wrap this up. Will the season end with all the vampires escaping and a cliffhanger that will never be resolved because the show will be canceled? Or will they cop out and ultimately have Brad and Amy save the day and I guess kill all the vampires? And then they'll still say that this is the passage, even though they cover... they faithfully cover about 150 pages and then just decide it ends there. I don't know. But hopefully you guys have been enjoying this series as much as I have been. And I hope you're watching at home. A whole shit ton of people have been sending me pictures. I'm talking like my fucking grandmother. Pictures of their copies of The Passage. Unfortunately, all new copies of The Passage have the horrible cover art from this show. If you can pick up a copy that had the original cover art, that's much better. It's like a cool forest on it. I don't like this disgusting cover art with Brad and Amy on it. No offense to the actors, but I really hate it. But I'm glad that so many people are picking it up and reading it thanks to this series. If I can introduce people to something I love and have them tell me that they love it too, that makes the whole thing worth it. So, for episodes 6 and 7 of The Passage, I've been Mumkey Jones. We'll do 8 and 9 in 2 weeks, and then it's the grand finale the week after that, folks. When the show gets canceled, that'll mean we only have 2 more episodes of this review show. I hope it has been fun. I'll see you next time.
We are born, then we live, and we die. It's the circle of life. We are free to believe in one God in this nation. We love God, this we cry. It's the circle of life. We are free to believe that God gave us this life. We must do all we can for our battle plan. We must live, we must love, we must care before we pass. So this I know, where we go after we live and pass. So this I say,